Hello guys, this is Oroth and a warm welcome back to my channel. In today's video I will finally be able to share with you a Summoner Necromancer PvP build. And I've been trying to make this work for a long time, over several patches, but it has been quite difficult to come up with anything competitive. But now I can with confidence say that finally we will be able to utilize summons in PvP also as a Necromancer. So first I'm gonna go through the build, and then we're also later on in this video gonna look at a few games where I will try to explain why I'm doing certain choices on the battlefield, etc, etc. So in the primary slot I use Soulfire. I'm not gonna use it that much. Then I use Wraith Form, I use Command Golem, I use Skeletal Mage, and I use Bone Armor. Let's dive straight into it and start by looking at the essences we're gonna use. So in the helmet slot we're gonna use the first new essence that's called Decrepit Visage. And what it says is that your golem roars once every 2 seconds, extending the duration of your nearby skeletal mages by 2 seconds. So now what happens is that, let's go outside here so we don't have a lot of attacks. When I summon a golem, you will see now that he makes a roar every 2 seconds. And you can see this circle from the golem itself. You can see every 2 seconds it roars. And if I summon a skeletal mage, you will see now on the duration bar of the skeletal mage that whenever this golem is doing a roar, it adds 2 seconds of duration onto the skeletal mage. So that's the new helmet. In the chest slot we're gonna use the new chest essence called Whisper Will. And what it says is that Bone Armor now empowers your nearby summons, granting them immunity to damage and loss of control. So it's pretty straightforward. If I hold down now, you can see how big the area of effect is, and if I use the skill, you can now see around my summons there's this turquoise bubble. And while this is active, you will not be able to damage the summons, and they will also be immune to loss of control effects. And if we look now, I have around 1 second downtime on this skill. So if I use the skill, we can see that when it's around 1 second remaining, the bone armor wears off. And this will also be the case in PvP, and I will explain later how we're able to prolong this duration as long as possible. If we look on the shoulder slot, I used a new shoulder, and it's called Depletion and Renewal. And what it says is that the skeletal mage grows in size and strength the longer it is active, increasing its damage by 45% after 5 seconds. So once again, if I summon a new skeletal mage now, you will see that it will grow in size over time. So if you see it next to the one we already summoned, you can see it grows, and after 5 seconds it reaches maximum size, and this will increase the damage done by the skeletal mage. If we look in the pants slot, I use Graven Bulwark, and what it says is that bone armor duration is increased by 39%. And yeah, it's very important that we have as much uptime as possible on the bone armor. So this is one way to prolong the duration of the bone armor. I have to say that if you add beneficial effect duration on, for example, your magical attributes, it will not affect how long the duration of the bone armor will be on your summons. Beneficial effect duration on magical attributes or on Reforge will only affect the duration on yourself, not on any other targets. But for these pants, it works also on other targets. If we look on the first main hand slot, I use Rotted Harvest, and it is the new main hand. And we can see the golem here. And what's new about this golem is that it has no duration bar, so this can live forever as long as no one kills it. And you can also see this huge circle around the golem, so it will deal damage to anyone within that circle and also slow them. So this is a good tool with a huge area of effect, which is useful in PvP. I can also jump with the golem like this. So what's good is that if there is a group of enemies over here on an idol, if I jump in with a golem like this, and if someone gets hit over here on the edge of that circle, all of my skeletal mages will run in as well. So before I engage, I can use bone armor, and then I jump in with the golem, and all of the skeletal mages will follow. And yeah, we're gonna see later on in the gameplay exactly how it works in action. If we look in the first offense slot, I use Dominance from Dust, and what it says is that your golem will split into 2 smaller golems when it dies. So basically what it does is that whenever this golem dies, I will get 2 little baby golems instead. And what's good about these golems is that they also work with this helmet that prolongs the duration. So if I have 3 of them up at the same time, because also the baby golems will have unlimited duration. So quite often I have 3 golems up at the same time, and they will do 1 roar each every 2 seconds. So even if some of mages is far away for a brief moment, when I manage to get my summons back together, it will not only charge 2 seconds per roar, it will charge up to 6 seconds per roar, because there will be 3 roars at the same time. So it's a very effective way to ensure that I have a golem up as often as possible. If we look on the second main hand slot, I use Stroke of Midnight, and what it says is that Wraith Form cooldown is reduced by 0.5 seconds each time you are hit. And the cooldown cannot be reduced by more than 1.5 seconds maximum. So what's also a very good survivability tool of this build is that I'm using Wraith Form, so I can go into a group of enemies and they can't hit me as long as I'm in Wraith Form, and I want to be able to use this as often as possible. So just to mention here as well, you can see that I have this Wraith Form Eternal Affix that says that cooldown is reduced by 0.02 seconds for every yard you traveled, and this is times 4 because I've maxed it. So this means that when I'm in PvP, I will have a slight longer cooldown on the skill and a little bit less beneficial effect duration on it because of Strife, but I will be able to use Wraith Form a lot. So I can run into enemies and I can juke them, and I can just keep on using Wraith Form. And then I will reapply Bone Armors whenever it's ready. So I will always summon a new mage and then use Bone Armor straight after. But as I said, we're gonna watch the gameplay later on. And finally, we have the new offhand, and it's called Black Wall. And what it says is that Skeletal Mage is now mobile and channels beams at multiple nearby enemies that deal more damage the longer they hit the same target. And before theory crafting this build, I was quite sure that the stationary Skeletal Mages would perform a lot better, and that I would run in almost like a Blood Knight. I would run in, put down a Skeletal Mage, use Bone Armor, and then fall back, and then I would just repeat this process as often as possible and try to have as many mages up at the same time as possible. But I actually found out that these mages work a lot better, and it will be a lot easier to make sure that I can have all of the mages next to me whenever I have to reapply Bone Armor. So yeah, it's a lot stronger than I expected it would be in PvP. What's also good to mention, and we will discuss this a little bit later as well, is that it's a little bit easier to use Blood Knight summons or Demon Hunter summons, because you can place them down and you can fall back, and the summons themselves, they don't take any damage. With these summons you need to use the Bone Armor to make the summons immune. But what's good about this is that these summons will mitigate a lot of hits, because compared to Demon Hunter summons that are untargetable, then if someone tries to attack you, they will not mitigate any damage. But if I have all of these summons up like this and I use Bone Armor, if I'm ever attacked, these summons will be attacked as well, and they will mitigate a lot of damage. So let's pretend now that it's a Demon Hunter here trying to shoot me. Quite often he will hit the summons instead, and they will be immune to damage. So this build is not only very good in terms of DPS output, it's also very good in terms of tankiness and survivability thanks to that. So it's a huge upside compared to the Demon Hunter summons, for example. So enough about the essences, let's take a look at the set I'm using. I'm using 4 pieces of Grace, I'm using 2 pieces of Vitu, and I'm using 2 pieces of Baron. So the reason I'm using 4 pieces of Grace and 2 pieces of Baron is because I'm using a lot of dot gems. We will look at them very soon, and this is a very good combination. We have highlighted it before in previous videos. But what's also important here is to use 2 pieces of Vitu Surge. Because if we look at the 2-piece effect, it says increases the duration of all beneficial effects on you or your party members by 30%. So if we compare this, if we look here on my helmet, for example, if we go down here to my reforges, we can see that I have duration of beneficial effects increased by 3%. This reforge effect will only be on my own character. So if I apply a buff to myself, it will prolong the duration of that buff. But if I do a buff on another target, it will not be increased by this reforge. But this 2-piece Vitu effect will actually prolong the effects of buffs on other targets as well. So it's the reason why I use it in this build, because as I said, I want as much uptime on this bone armor on the summons as possible. So this is the reason why I use these sets. The 4-piece of Grace is very good because not only will the summons deal a lot of damage, I will also have a lot of dot effects, and Grace will help me to interrupt bandage, because the 4-piece effect of Grace will interrupt bandage. But let's of course then also take a look at the legendary gems I'm using. I'm using Blood-Soaked Jade, I'm using Viper's Bite, I'm using Igneous Scorn, Roiling Consequence, Everlasting Torment, Bottled Hope, Bloody Reach, and Seeping Bile. So first of all, we have this classical dot package, which is Viper's Bite, Roiling Consequence, Everlasting Torment, and Seeping Bile. This is a very efficient package to strengthen the power of the Grace set, as we just talked about. But we can also see here that I'm using Blood-Soaked Jade. This is for some extra damage increase and also some extra movement speed. We have Igneous Scorn, which deals a lot of damage as well, and it will trigger even when the targets are far away, thanks to all the dots. Bottled Hope is a good effect, because whenever I use Bone Armor, it will apply Bottled Hope onto all of the summons. And we can also see here Bloody Reach, which is a very strong and solid option for summon builds, because this effect is doubled when you use summons. So you will not only get the bonus once, you will get it twice when you use Bloody Reach and you play summons. So these are the legendary gems of this build. Let us also take a look at the familiar here. I'm using an Ash Sweeper, and it has Savior and it has Resilience 200, so I only have 60-second cooldown here on Savior. We can also go here and check the Paragon I'm using. We can see here that I'm in the Gladiator category, and I use Juggernaut, Overpower, Grizzled Veteran, To the Victor, and Sheet Death. Important to mention here is that Swift Strikes is not really useful when you play summons, because it will not increase the attack speed of your summons. So that's why I opt for Overpower instead. So this is the build. Don't forget to look at the Eternal Affixes. As I said, I use the Command Golem one, and I also use the Wraithform one. These are the most important for this build. It's also good to have at least one, let's see here where I have it. If you have at least one Skeletal Mage affix, that's also good, because this shield will also apply Bottled Hope. So whenever you summon a new Skeletal Mage, you will, thanks to this affix, also apply Bottled Hope onto that summon. So this is the build. We're gonna now dive into the battlegrounds and have a look at exactly how it works. So we're gonna look at the first game here, which is a game in defense. And already here at the spawn, I can pre-summon all of my summons. so that when the timer is out and we can engage, I already have 6 mages up at the same time. And here I'm checking the minimap, trying to read the situation about when the timing is right to use bone armor. And then I want to engage with the golem in front there, because if someone steps in that AoE circle of the golem, all of my mages will run there and start dealing damage. Maybe we're able to hold them a little bit here in this choke point before they enter their spawn here. And if we can just hide a little bit in the corners here, our summons can probably do a lot of good work here. So let's see, now it's time to get out of here because we are surrounded. Maybe I overextend a little bit, but maybe we can Wraith form out. Yeah, we wasted a gladiator there. I was a little bit greedy, but no harm done. And now it's time to defend this choke point here. And once again, I use the bone armor, and straight after I jump in with the golem. And most of the time the mages will follow, and the mages deal massive AoE damage. So everyone trying now to get out of this spawn will get hit by all of the mages. And once again here, okay, I died again. I should have fallen back a little bit earlier, but it's fine. So already we can see that the summons are doing a decent job. Whenever you die, you want to resurrect your golem and start pumping out those mages as soon as possible, so that you are ready to engage with a few of them when you arrive at the battle. And here is also a very good thing that we talked about earlier, that whenever I get jumped by, let's say, a Tempest, I can only use Wraith form, and most of the time they will die from the summons. So it's very effective. Also, the summons themselves will mitigate a lot of damage. So if a Tempest is trying to hunt me down on the backline, they will often hit my summons with most of the hits. So I will not take that much damage myself. And this is a lot better compared to, for example, the Demon Hunter summoner build that I've highlighted before. So this is new and something that it's a very huge upside with this build compared to the Demon Hunter summoner builds that I've showcased before. So here once again we go back here to the choke point. I try to go deep, and then I use Wraith form when the timing is right. My summons will often stay around and keep dealing damage, unless I go back too far. Now we're almost dead. Maybe we can heal up. And while I'm healing, you can see that the summons are still fighting, so that's also a good thing. Once again, we get jumped by a Tempest. Let's see if he can kill us. Most likely not. We also have a help here from a wizard, but once again he fails to kill us. And it's not only because we're in Wraith form, it's also because when we are not in Wraith form, the summons take a lot of the hits. So we're doing fairly well this game. They've pushed not very far. They managed to activate both idols, but just as with other summoner builds, when they manage to push it this far, it's great if we are able to put a little camp here in the corridor in the middle, because we can hide here around the corner in the stairs if we need to. And yeah, I had to cut the video there a little bit because I had some notifications on the screen. So we have 2.5 minutes to go. We have killed quite a lot of them, so this looks like a win. Hopefully we will be able to defend this without the problem in the end. And now when the idol is free, I don't run over to the other side, I go here in front instead. Try to attack the barbs and the crusaders as early as possible, so that we trigger Undying Rage or forces the crusaders to use Conjuration of Light before they reach the idols. That's always something I'm trying to do, both as offense and defense. Oh, he got body slammed there by the golem. That was a nice kill. So yeah, it's a very efficient first game here that we have. And you can see most of the time I have 3, 4, 5 mages up at the same time. And this, of course, starts to be very, very impactful. Deals a lot of damage. And this was the issue. I tried some of the other mages, but it was quite difficult to keep up the bone armors on them. And I thought that it would work better with the stationary ones, but after some testing, I actually have a lot more success with the mobile ones, with the new offhand, which is nice because it's always nice to use some new essences. So let's wrap this game up, and hopefully we will have a few more exciting games ahead of us. I will also say that I'm still experimenting now with this build, so I have not found the optimal way to play it yet. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try a few different tactics in the different games here, and let's see how it goes. So this time we're in offense. Maybe we need to play a little bit different this time. Let's see. I deal some great damage there to the Guardian at the start. I activate bone armor, and then I jump in with the Golem, and you see he tries to attack me, but I use Wraith form and he gets totally annihilated by the summons. And now, if I'm able to, I can go in, put down the summons. They are unkillable. I force them out, and I can use Wraith form. So if I can sneak in like that, it's a good thing. What's also good to say is that when you play as offense here, for example, you can actually jump with the golem out of that wall. So it's very easy to attack from inside the spawn with your summons, because you jump out with the golem and then the mages will follow. It's super efficient, and this was not as easy to do with the other summoner builds, because you could not put your summons outside of the spawn without going outside yourself. But this is possible with this build. And here you see I Wraith form straight through their back line, and I try to attack them from behind. And this is also good with the Necromancer, that we are now able to use the... I should heal now. Oh, this is dangerous. I'll probably pop my gladiator. Yes, that's true. What's good is that I can summon my summons, and now you can see on the minimap I can just Wraith form straight through them. If they are close to the idol, I can Wraith form straight through them, and then my summons will attack from behind instead. It's very efficient with this build. So now I wait for the bone armor to finish, and now I do this again. I Wraith form straight through their line, and if I have to, I can just keep on going. Try to keep them between me and my summons. And now I'm in okay, this was maybe a little bit risky, but maybe I can do it. You see, I can juke them a lot. I can kite them. My summons will keep dealing damage. Oh, I get stuck there at the healing pool. Oh, that was a little bit of a mistake, but you could see the potential there. I could kite back and forth. I could juke them a lot with my Wraith form. And juke them, it means that I try to avoid their attacks. I can hide among my summons. I can have a strange movement pattern that hinders them from easily attacking me. Once again, I run straight through here. I want to divert as much attention as possible. And here I can probably wreak havoc. I'm dealing a lot of damage here. We have a little bit of issues pushing, though, so we will see how it goes. And now I'm in huge trouble. Maybe I can heal. And now I have to Wraith form again. This is... Yeah, I'm trying here to see what are the limits of the build. I'm still learning how hard can I push, how tanky can I be, and it takes a little time to learn a new build. When you play the build a lot, then you start to get muscle memory, and that you don't have to think about the choices you make because you just do them without thinking. So once again, let's Wraith form through because it has been a very effective tactic so far. And once again, you see I hide between myself. I hide behind my summons. So if there's a demon hunter trying to attack me, he will hit my summons first, and they are immune to damage. So once again, I put up a camp here. If I'm ready, I can start engaging again. I fall back and forth, and I do this kiting, as I already mentioned. And what kiting means is that when you are playing a ranged character, is that you keep a safe distance to your enemy, so you pretend that they are a kite that you are flying, and then between you and your kite there is a rope, and you have to stay at a safe distance because if the kite reaches you, it will hit the ground. So that's why it's called kiting, and it's a very efficient method to use in PvP. In many types of games. So here we are actually pushing one side without pushing the other one, and that's usually not a great tactic. But since I'm able to divert and disrupt their way to the idol this much, we're actually making a push only on one side, and this is very, very rare. But it's interesting to see this build now in offense as well, because I think that this game truly highlights the potential of this archetype, and this has not been possible before. So I'm so happy that I finally can also use summons as a Necromancer in PvP. So this was the second game, and yeah, I mean. I really hope that you like the build so far. We're gonna watch a few more games. I think it's important to not only share the build, but also to try to showcase how it works in action. Because if you just copy essences and go out to fight, most of the time it will not be that successful because it takes time to get used to a new build. You have to maybe play it in a certain way. So I think it's important to not only share the setup itself, but maybe even more important is to really showcase the tactics that you should use. So that's what I'm trying to do. And here is the third game. We play as offense again. So let's see how this goes. Maybe I can Wraith form inside here and do some disruption. Oops. It's a little bit dangerous. Let's fall back a little bit and heal. Okay, he used Grace. I will probably pop my Gladiator here. That was a little bit unnecessary, but it's fine. And you can see almost all of the mages are still alive, so the bone armor at least worked as intended. So now I want to Wraith form through this first line of defense, I mean, from the enemies. And maybe I can go straight through here. Okay, I failed this time. I should have just rushed there immediately. I shouldn't have stopped there for a brief moment as I did. But let's try it again, because I do think that this is a very good tactic to break out as offense. So now I'll check the map. I use bone armor in the exact right moment. Push the idol as long as I could there, and now I want to disrupt here in the front instead. And I want to attack the Crusader here, for example, because now I forced him to use Conjuration of Light very early, so when he reaches the idol, it's already too late. And here you can do once again see the Demon Hunter was using Strafe build, but he didn't even hit me. He only hit my Immortal summons, so it's a very very efficient as usual. And now I'm gonna try here to see how well I'm able to kite here in the backline. Okay, that was a little bit unnecessary. Now I'm in real danger. I have to run. Okay, I get healed back up to full from a 6 kill streak, so that's good. Now I can see on the minimap that someone is coming. And it's a barbarian. It's good that I attack him immediately, because if I get him to 0, he has no undying rage when he reaches the idol. So here I'm gonna try to kite again. And if he reaches me, I can just use Wraith form. Move back and forth, stay within my summons to mitigate a lot of hits. And now I can heal up a little bit. You see that I interrupt the bandage because I saw someone was coming. Maybe I didn't play it optimal there, but at least I'm being a thorn in their side. And we are able to push on both sides now. And what I noticed is that in every fight it's so important to reach their backline, and that's why Necros are so strong, not only this build. But we're always able to reach the wizards and reach the demon hunters in the back, if there are any other like summon demon hunters, for example. It's always so efficient. And now the barb is off the idol. That's good. We can push. I'm gonna park here with my summons. Okay, let's push a little bit and heal up. And now let's see if we can make a little meat wall here of summons.
I need aid.
I can watch the minimap. I have to spam the heal button now. Okay, I had time to do it. Ooh, I should probably die here, right? I couldn't go back because there was people there, so I had to try to survive here in the front line. And okay, we pushed the right side. I want to believe that we were very impactful this game, since we were able to park at their spawn, and we disrupted them so much, so they had huge issues reaching the idols. So yeah, it was also an interesting game to showcase. So let's look at the final game together. We are once again in defense here. I have pre-spawned all of my summons as usual. So let's see how it goes. Fall back to heal just a little bit. I don't have to go out. I can see on the map that they are quite far away still. It would be very good if I'm able to stay in here for a little bit. Okay, let's go back. Okay, it's looking quite good so far. They're not able to activate any idol yet, but just as I say so, they managed to do it on the other side. Can we perhaps hinder them here? Let's see how it goes.
I must wait, it seems.
Yeah, it's going well so far. Okay, and yes, because I said so, the Crusader managed to activate it. And yeah, this is gonna be quite difficult, I think, because if you look now on the other side, it doesn't matter if we outnumber them, they have been able to push there. So, an early sign of what's to come, perhaps. Maybe we can stall them now when they reach the middle here.
Must recharge.
It's gonna be vital because they still have a lot of time. Oh, and we're back to full health from the 6 kill streak. That's nice. Maybe I should have gone there a little bit more in the front instead, to engage them more early. Let the others deal with the barbarian here. I'm not 100% confident that I'm doing the right choices here. I think that I will be more impactful if I'm going to as far up in the front as possible to disrupt them, just as we did in the previous game. But it looks like we managed to hinder them just a little bit here, so let's see how it goes. And now I'm here in the front, doing exactly what I should have done a little bit earlier, I think. Sometimes when people go in the front like this, people will start writing in the chat like, what are you doing? You have to be on the idle, stop chasing kills, etc, etc. But this is very useful to be in the front like this. You see now, I already killed a few people and they were not able to reach the idols. The problem is that even though we managed to kill them off here, they're still able to push both sides, even though we outnumber them. So in this case, I don't really think that there's much we can do. And yeah, as you can see now, people are writing idols, and yes, of course, the goal is to hinder them from pushing the idols, but sometimes the answer is to disrupt them here in the front, as I said. Okay, let's spam the heal button. It's crazy, we managed to survive. I don't really know how. We can still win this game, I'm not sure. And now, okay, now there are many people coming to the right side. Okay, but there are also 3 people here. I will defend this side, and hopefully they can make it on the other side. So let's see how it goes. No, they couldn't keep it. And of course, I mean, in this situation, some people might argue that, yeah, you have to run to the other side, but at the same time, if we're not able to defend the left side here, they will win anyways. So we can't everyone run to the right side. There's still 2.5 minutes to go. So I stay on the left side and give us at least a chance to win it. But yeah, this one was a tough game. So still, it was a good way to show the survivability of this build. And yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and that this gave you some inspiration to try out the Summon Necromancer in PvP. I have to say now, after playing this build for maybe around 20 games, I've had great success with it. I have a win rate around 65% with it. And I also feel that I'm very impactful every game. And I'm still learning the build, so it's not perfected in any ways yet. So yeah, I can with confidence say that Necromancer Summoner is here now to deliver in PvP as well. And I've been waiting for this for years now. So this is a very happy moment for me. You know that I love summons, and you know how much I love the Necromancer class. It's my main class from the beginning. So this is very fun for me. And I hope that you have some success with it as well. Remember that you need practice. If you use this build for the first time, you will probably struggle a little bit. But try to practice and develop, and hopefully maybe you will find some new ways to play this build as well. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I would like to wish you a very nice day or a very nice evening wherever you are. And of course, to all of my clan members in Nyx, I would also like to say Voruk Nyx, Sholak Sol. So, bye bye.
Guess who's back with some brand new content? Hit the bell button, maybe leave a comment. Oroth with the swagger, wanna see his game. Teach you all the secrets, it will be insane. Guess who's back with a brand new lesson? He will have the answer if you have a question. Oroth invites you to his awesome tribe. No more time to waste, it's time to hit subscribe. 1, 2, 3 is the man of our affection. 4, 5, 6 only aiming for perfection. 7, 8, 9 he is 10 out of 10. Subscribe and you will never miss a video.